Well, it's been a while since I've been down here in this Southern hotel that has been transformed into an apartment, which I want to take back. And I've been kind of waiting on some warm weather to open up these windows again. I've had these windows blocked off through the winter to kind of stop some of the cold draft. These windows are one of the worst things about this building. So we're actually headed into a week of 70 degrees, and we might possibly hit 80 degrees midweek. So I'm going to take off some of these paneling, take off some of this trim, and see what is behind these casings. Eventually we'll pull these windows out. So I need to pull this trim, the stops, and theoretically, if we have this all figured out, these old windows are going to come out, and I have new thermal-pane windows that are going to go in. Well, I can see my lighting isn't the best in here, kind of a lot of shadows. I'm going to open up these other two windows and see if I can get some more light in here. Maybe that'll help a little bit. Pull these blinds so I can get inside these windows. They're in with a spring clip. I can get those to release. There we go. You can see the trim work on this old window was 4.5 inches wide. Well, when they furred this out, they added another 3/4 to 7/8 of an inch out from the original plaster. So this has been built out, and here at the bottom you can see the piece that was added onto the original window. So about an inch that they added onto. You can see the break in the paint right here where the addition was put on. Well, if I stick another 1/2 inch of sheetrock on here, I would have to build this out an additional 1/2 inch. So I think what I'll probably do is I'll take this off as well with the trim work, and when I put on a new one, I'll just make it 1.5 inches instead of the 1 inch that it is now. So since these windows have the old window weights in them, I'm kind of suspecting there's probably a gap between this casing here and the original wall. I know I'm kind of fighting against the light of this window. That's what's going to allow this first window to come loose. Upper window is held in by this inset, then it rests on this little stop here. And all these windows have had aluminum storm windows put in. Well, I'm going to sneak in behind here and see how much space we have for these cast iron window weights that are hiding in behind here. Not the gap that I expected. which is a good thing. So it's pretty tight between this window casing and the brick and the plaster, so the inset open space is inside. So as the manufacturer sales rep suggested, that I drill holes through this whole window casing and spray an aerosol spray foam into there to try to seal that up before I slide the new windows in, and they will stop up against this shoulder here. So I'm not sure I'm quite ready to take this out yet. I'm just kind of exploring. This is kind of loose. I could take that jamb out, but to reach the screws on the top, I need to get this top window out. So even though we've got a few 70 degrees, we've had the last couple days been touching right at that mark. We were still down to 35 this morning. So the nights aren't really warming up yet, the days are. So I'm not eager to just open this all up and go gangbusters on it yet until our night temperatures are up a little better to where I can treat these windows and allow them to dry and cure even overnight. So like I say, I'm kind of just exploring right now. If I pull this out, this top window here, even as it is, I'm going to have to just kind of prop it in and hold it in place through the possibly next few weeks to a month, until I'm ready to just kind of really open this up and get into it. I think it's going to be a pretty doable deal though. I'm kind of looking forward to it. Some of this I can still take off. We're down now to the original window. And for the time being, I'm going to leave this window in place. That's all we need for the moment. On the next window up toward Main Street, I've got this furnace. I will have to remove this to get this paneling off. But right now I'm just going to go ahead and pull the rest of this trim, get these windows kind of disassembled. Now that I know how it's going to work, I can just pull all this trim off, take these blinds off, and kind of continue to do some of this removal of trim. So when we get to that point to where our evenings are, I'd like them to be more in the 50s, maybe 60s, where I can open these up, get my trim re-oiled, and kind of get this process going. But right now it's just kind of still a little preparation for the warm days they're going to come. They're going to come. You know, it's been right at a year now that we had those borax wheels come back. And you remember I was unloading out of the trailer and I mentioned that I injured my shoulder. Well, that injury was actually a total dislocation. Sent me to the ER to have it reset. So it's taken about a year to get my range of motion back to where I can reach over top like this, but it has come back really well. So I'm really thankful for that. Still do some strength exercises and stretches and kind of watch it. It's probably, I would say maybe 95%. It took quite a while before I could do anything overhead like this. This sill plate is pretty bad shape. I'll have to replace that when we get to that point. That's one of those things I need to know. So two of these apartments have got this kind of acoustic tile, 12-inch and about 12-inch square tiles. Again, kind of that 60s vintage stuff. I haven't been brave enough yet to poke a hole in it, but I'm thinking this is all going to come down and I'm going to sheetrock, get rid of this acoustic tile stuff. All these other apartments, they already had sheetrock put in. But in one of these bathrooms that has the living room, kitchen already sheetrocked, they have these office type tiles put in. They don't stand the bathroom application very well. Really warped and saggy. Well, you see the original height, the original ceiling in here, and it appears to be in pretty fair shape. I was thinking maybe I would put a drop ceiling in it, but even as I remove these tiles, I'm second guessing that. Yeah, I've had this building for 20 years now, and I never removed these. I always thought they were kind of ugly. Now, this is not what I would have expected. Looks like this had a forced air heat vent here. I might just leave it back to original. That's the whole goal, isn't it? So this tub that was initially just a tub was turned into a shower combination. Well, this wall here didn't go clear up, so it was always kind of flopping. So I put a bar in here that actually stabilized that. Well, this wall is going to come out, and this tub is going to come out. It's another cast iron tub. So as I remove this wall and the surround, it'll open this bathroom up a little bit more. So seeing that that other bathroom ceiling is a drop ceiling, in order for them to put this acoustic tile in, it's got to be furred out. Just punching a hole in. I don't want this up here. I'll do whatever I have to do to fix it. That's actually a really solid ceiling, furred out, very easily sheetrocked over. These are all put in with staples, so I got to bring my staple puller back and just pull all those out and find somebody to clean up my mess. Sure easy to make a mess. Not quite so fun to clean it up though. So this is the apartment that would be on the northwest corner of this building. that I have totally demolished or gutted out from the inside. It also shows that the baseboard trim, even in the rooms on the second floor, were in that 9-inch category. So the kitchen in this northwest apartment had sheetrocked walls, but the ceiling was also acoustical, so I took that out as well. And then what was the bedroom to the back of the kitchen that went to the bathroom that I did remove the cast iron tub from, I also removed the rest of the paneling as well as the acoustical tile from the ceilings. And the same color that was used on the walls was also used on the ceiling. If you remember, this is where I found the push button light switch and the hidden note from the manager, please turn off the lights. And then in the bedroom on the northeast corner, this room I also came back and removed the acoustical tiles. Again, the same pink on the walls was used on the ceiling. So this was the living room on the northeast corner. It also had acoustical tiles. I removed those. Some of the original plaster had come down and they put tar paper up, but used the same tiles to cover it all. So this pretty much concludes my demolition for this room. When I get these windows out and I find any repairs, I'll do that. But short of cleaning up my mess, most of my demolishing is done. From here, we can maybe start going back the other direction. Appreciate you following along.